I know. Debate or die, we flexing for sure. I'ma take my titans with me where I go.
Try, yes they can, it'll douse my flame. 10 toes where
So I've been getting to it, it don't stop. We stay ready to go. I'ma take my titans with me wherever I go. Don't forget about me, don't forget about me. I know. Y'all playing games, this ain't an arcade. Late night debates hit like a buffet. Yeah, feelings who we on me, who wanna talk, yeah. And talking too fast gon' get you sparked, yeah. My team sourced up as long as you know. My hitters hit your hitters if they pseudo. They ask how everyone know what my name is. Cause I stay 100 on the same shit. Yeah, history and logic going so hard. I built this from the bottom, made my own start. Yeah, wake the neighbors up, we be going so hard. I love this game, I gave it my whole heart. Yeah, V12 in it, it got horses. My phone ring, they want sources. Unload the clip on, turn them to corpses. Heard I'm tryna copy my recipe, that is hopeless. Yeah, hood luck, think that hating gon' work, tell them good luck. Titan gang or don't bang, throw your hood up. Gang, we got the knowledge on tap, could get you hooked up. They like A1, look at all this wisdom we done cooked up for the community. Coliseum of arguments. You know, I know. I'ma take my titans with me where I go. So don't forget about me, don't forget about me. Y'all playing games, this ain't an arcade. Late night debates, hit like a bar face. So don't forget about me, don't forget about me. I know. Debate or die, we flexing for sure. I'ma take my titans with me where I go. So don't forget about me.
Yeah. All this knowledge on the flow. I've been golden from the go. Let these pseudo scholars know. Baby, welcome to the show. Yeah, show you how to flex with a strong point. Wait. Show you where the facts and the stats and the proofs point. I've been grinding nieces in the late night. Wait, standing on the stage with the main light. Enlighten. Philosophers, scientists, historians united. Warriors of logic who want the smoke, get excited. Bring your primary sources, don't get ignited. Slide on my prompts, look it up, read a book. Never going back to the dumb, take a look. Woke, not broke, we run the show, sport the glow. Titans in the league, watch the intellect grow. Coliseum arguments locked at the door. Welcome to the show, floor full of lore. I'm the GOAT, with the flow, there's knowledge on the flow. I've been goated from the go. Let these pseudo scholars flow. Baby, welcome to the show. Seems only time when I'm speaking, reason, peeking. Like the truth that they all have been seeking, my logic weakened. To them that's important, show up, don't be late to the debate. Never see myself falling. Picture me falling off back to ignorant and stalling. Got the citations loaded in order, crossing every intellectual border. Hey, I could've never seen a day. All this knowledge on the flow. I've been goated from the go. Let these pseudo scholars know. Baby, welcome to the show. Yeah. All this knowledge on the flow. I've been goated from the go.
Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1. The arena is opening once again, and only the strongest minds will survive. After an unforgettable first tournament, Pandemus the African Atheist fought through the battlefield of ideas and walked away with $500 in cash. But that was then. This time we're raising the stakes. $1,000, one champion, one title, one chance to prove you're the greatest debater in the league. This isn't social media arguing. This isn't trolling in the comments. This is intellectual warfare, where evidence is your weapon, logic is your shield, and every round is a fight for survival. New challengers are stepping into the arena. Veteran fan favorites are returning. Egos will fall, legends will rise. The question is, do you have what it takes to survive the Coliseum? We still have a few tournament spots available. Think you belong among the Titans? Message titansdebateleague@gmail.com and claim your place before the gates close. Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1, where great minds don't just debate, they go to war. Are you not entertained? Coliseum of Arguments. Only the brave speak here.
Yo, yo, yo. You know who it is. It's your boy Oli. We on the late night.
What up? What up? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. What's up, my guy Quantum?
Oh man, you know, just up late night, flew into the nest, man. Just you know what I'm saying? Glad that I could take everybody to KEMET on this trip. You know, it's like a vacation to me when I do these. People be like, this, he be all over the place with his shows and presentations and stuff. Yeah, I do. I fly plenty different places. My mind and thoughts, especially when I'm gaining information and when I have gained my information for my material, books and manuscripts and my philosophy. And so, you know, we be in the back chats a whole lot, discussing plenty different things. And the conversations lead to here. And I was in a back chat today just discussing KEMET and telling some of my views about KEMET. And I just thought that would be a good time for me to go ahead and give respect where respect due. And so tonight we're going to be talking about my chapter 12 in my book, The History of Philosophy, comparisons. And you can get that soon. I've actually given it to some people and stuff. And so we was going over this earlier, me, you, and Tahuti. And I just wanted to, because I know that when I looked at KEMET, I didn't look at it through the lens of anybody else did. I looked at it through a philosophical, and that's kind of what my this explains. My my book, my chapter in my book about KEMET. Now, this chapter is compressed to my final findings. I didn't find it interesting to put all of my findings in the book because I got people like you and Tahuti, King Herc, that for me, when I wanted to get KEMET out there, I wanted to be, you know how I do when I'm about my information. I like to investigate the information and ask the questions, not just for me, but for the people who might have a certain deficiency in the information about these topics. And so what we're going to do is get into another one of these songs. And I'm going to pull up my overview, and we'll come back to this script right here. So if you in the chat, or you over at the channel on Titans, let me drop this link, man. I know Herc. I would love for Herc to come up, and Tahuti said he would join us. He didn't make no promises or nothing, but I do look forward to it. So I hope he come up, and everybody does. So let me go ahead and get to another one of these. It's together real quick.
I just opened up my eyes, cause I heard the cries, filtered through the lies, listen close. I don't believe in ghosts, even though I tried. I recognize the patterns when they form inside the mind. Ignorance ain't the crime, it's refusing truth when truth arrives. We got the topic, give the line, debate you anytime. That's fine. You done crossed the line. Drop the claim without a spine. Bring your thoughts, I'll find the incoherence. Book you every time. Recognize I can see the fallacy before the sentence finished. You confuse a strong opinion with a reason proposition. You keep reaching for conclusions, but your premises are missing. Then you hide behind your feelings when the logic need a mission. I don't argue with a person, I examine what was stated, define the terms, expose assumptions, then determine what was weighted. Is it valid? Is it grounded? Can the structure be defended? Or you built a house of cards and got offended when it ended? I don't need to raise my voice, I let the contradiction speak. Every claim has got a burden, every burden got a receipt. You can decorate confusion, you can dress it up in pride, but a polished contradiction is a contradiction every time. I just opened up my eyes, cause I heard the cry, filtered through the lies, listen close. I don't believe in ghosts, even though I tried. I recognize the patterns when they form inside the mind. Ignorance ain't the crime, it's refusing truth when truth arrives. We got the topic, give the line, debate you anytime. That's fine. You done crossed the line. Drop the claim without a spine. Bring your thoughts, I find the incoherence. Book you every time. I recognize the dodge when the question make you nervous. Changing subjects every minute doesn't make the answer surface. That's a straw man, that's a false choice. That's an argument from fear. That's a claim that keeps on shrinking every time the fact is near. You can quote 100 scholars, still authority ain't proof. Tell me why the argument is sound. Take me underneath the roof. Show the beam, show the frame, show the function of the claim. If the meaning keeps on changing, then the word is just a game. Recognition over belief, coherence over applause. I don't need a crowd behind me when the reasoning is flaws. Time reveals what can I stand, nature limits what can be. If your worldview breaks beneath this weight, don't put the blame on me. I just opened up my eyes, cause I heard the cries, filtered through the lies, listen close. I don't believe in ghosts, even though I tried. I recognize the patterns when they form inside the mind. Ignorance ain't the crime, it's refusing truth when truth arrives. We got the topic, give the line, debate you anytime. That's fine. You done crossed the line.
Yeah, man, we back. You know who it is. It's your boy Emmett. It's your boy Oli, and this is KEMET and me. This is the overview of what we're gonna be talking about. So make sure you go get your drinks. If you got anything, questions or comments as we go along, I love to have an interactive presentation because this isn't a pushback. Tonight we're going somewhere I always wanted to go, and I've been wanting to go there for a while, but I wanted to make sure I approached it correctly because I don't like to push back on people's views. I just like to investigate about it. So we're going to KEMET. Now, when I say we're going to KEMET, I don't mean we're going to KEMET to praise it. I don't mean we're going to KEMET to tear it down. And I'm certainly not going to begin by pretending that I know everything about ancient KEMET, because I don't. And that's why I got humble, and I hope King Hurt come up. And anybody that's in the chat, like I said, if you like, share, and subscribe, make sure you can come up and give us some information, because this is a learning possibility and we can get some learning out. That's actually part of the reason that we're doing this, right? I got people here tonight who study KEMET, people who identify with Kemetic thought, and people who know proportions of the history better than I do. That's valuable to me because I don't want this to become one of those presentations where I stand up here, tell everybody what somebody else believes, and then congratulate myself for successfully defeating the version that I invented. And that's what a lot of people do. That's easy. Inquiry is harder than that. So tonight, I'm going to tell you what I've learned. I'm going to show you what the historical record appears to establish. I'm going to tell you where I have questions. And we're going to get into something that people who actually practice or study Kemetic systems understand differently. I'm going to ask them because I want to understand this thing. And I know it's other people's that do. And other people that do. Sorry, I kind of got out of my line when I was speaking, but this is important to me. And it's another reason that we're doing this. As I stated earlier, this presentation comes directly from Chapter 12 of my History of Quantum Onlyism. Chapter 12 is where my history of philosophy begins looking seriously toward KEMET. And not because I'm trying to claim that quantum onlyism came from KEMET. I just want to show y'all the correlations of my thoughts after they finished. And I got another story that I'm going to tell tonight, too, about the words Ifa and Pira, because they come early in the story of my philosophy. But we'll get to that later. But I'm going to take my philosophy. I'm going to carry it 5,000 years in the past, put an ankh around the neck, and pretend that the Egyptians were secretly looking for the same thing we looking for today. That's not history. What interests me is something much more fundamental. I want to know what these people thought reality was. Before Plato, before Aristotle, before Christianity, long before modern physics and modern philosophy developed, the present vocabulary that human beings were already looking at was the nature of existence. And I believe and Humble going to tell us later about the netter and netteru and the meaning. And so we asking questions. We're going to figure out order. We're going to look at order. We're going to look at what human beings are in this system, what happens when we die, what is justice, what makes something right or wrong, and what relationship humans had with the netter, or what we call nature. Where did order come from in the world? I mean, it's going to get deep. So for the people we're studying, what we call religion, philosophy, politics, morality, astronomy, medicine, kingship, nature, and social organization, we're going to see how it overlaps with today in the understanding of reality for those of us who don't know. That's what Humble was telling me earlier today when we was talking about it. Some people don't understand a lot of aspects of what they're talking about. It might just have a simplified view of it. And that's so true. Especially when you look at my book, for me to try to simplify my teachings, I tried to simplify most of the things that I talk about, especially in these books, because I know that we can go in and talk about it. And so we're going to Memphis, Hermopolis. We're going to go to Heliopolis. We're going to examine Atum, Ra, Ptah, Shu, Tefnut, Gib, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Set, Horus, Thoth, and many other Neteru. So I hope y'all in for a long night tonight, especially if you're Herc and if you Tahuti. Humble, I got Humble up here. I think he got on my sleep schedule and he was asleep, so I hope I got him for a bit. So me knowing that people got time and other things to do, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all this overview so we'll know exactly where we starting at.
The Nile Valley operates through a relentless, undeniable rhythm. The river floods and recedes, harvests yield to barren earth. The sun cycles overhead with punishing regularity. For the inhabitants of Kemet, these natural movements proved that existence is a structured system. They identified the governing principle of this system as Ma'at. While often translated as balance, Ma'at represents the unified concept of truth, cosmic regularity, justice, and proper relationship that sustains all reality. The existence of Ma'at implied a constant threat, Isfet. This was the force of chaos, falsehood, and violence, the destabilizing pressure that threatened to collapse reality into an unorganized void. In KEMET, science, agriculture, religion, and politics functioned as a single combined technology. Every aspect of their civilization was specifically engineered to maintain Ma'at and hold back the encroachment of Isfet. This suggests that Kemetic civilization was a grand, integrated engine built to stave off cosmic collapse. To map the origins of this system, they looked to the primordial state known as Noon, an expanse of undifferentiated waters representing potential without structure. Within the Heliopolitan theology, ordered reality arises through differentiation. The primary source, Atum, brings forth a genealogical model of cosmic structure known as the Ennead, representing the separation of earth, sky, and atmosphere. The Memphite theology approaches formation differently. This golden statuette depicts Ptah, whose rigid, pillar-like form represents structural stability. In this model, the creator conceives order through the heart, or thought, and manifests it through the tongue, or speech. This close-up scan of hieroglyphic inscriptions illustrates the strict grid-like structure of the language itself. The Memphite creation story serves as an early philosophical meditation on how conceptualization and language provide the framework for physical order. Other traditions, like the Hermopolitan Ogdoad, focused on the underlying primordial conditions themselves, mapping existence through pairs representing water, darkness, and infinity. These creation stories functioned as overlapping philosophical models, each tracking the essential transition from indeterminacy to structured reality. The Kemetic pantheon reflected these functional realities. Thoth, for instance, personified the mechanics of knowledge, language, and precise measurement. The Osirian cycle provided a master narrative for the system's survival. It dealt with the fragmentation of death and the eventual restoration of inheritance, modeling how political order could be reclaimed from chaos. This bronze statue depicts Set. He personified the necessary forces of conflict, storms, and the unorganized desert, the untamed power required within a natural environment. Looking at the Luxor temple, massive, ordered columns stand against the flat, chaotic desert. The pharaoh served as the living mediator preventing Isfet, while temples functioned as the economic and ritual engines of cosmic maintenance. Even periods of warfare and foreign conquest were integrated into this worldview. By framing imperial expansion as the necessary restoration of Ma'at, the state justified political power as a requirement for cosmic order. Statecraft, ritual practice, and imperial power were viewed as identical tools for maintaining the structural integrity of the cosmos. The requirement for order extended to the human person, described as a complex mechanism of components, including the Ka, Ba, Ach, Ren, Shut, and the Ib, or heart. Within this continuous system, death marked a critical transition point, requiring strict evaluation and judgment. This papyrus illustration depicts the weighing of the heart ceremony, showing the scale used to measure alignment with Ma'at. To the right, Thoth records the precise measurement, framing morality as participation in the structural harmony of existence. Ethics were the micro-gears in the engine of reality. Human behavior was tied directly to the survival of existence itself. Individual conduct was therefore evaluated based on its coherence within the system. The legacy of KEMET is the recognition that reality is only intelligible through order. Their model relied on symbols and personified forces to navigate that order. But when we strip away the mythological narrative, we arrive at a different kind of problem.
So, my bad. Y'all, I stepped back for a second. So that's the basics of what we're going to be going over. But before we continue, of course, you know me. I love to give reverence where reverence is due. And today is actually Tuesday. I know I usually come on Mondays. It's still Monday where I'm at, but I know it might be Tuesday where some of y'all at. So remember what we got later on today.
Are you tired of the same old echo chambers? Ready to stretch your mind to places it's never been before? Welcome to the ultimate intellectual battleground on the Coliseum of Arguments Network. It's time to step inside the cave of knowledge. Welcoming your host, Humble Mystic, every Tuesday. We're bridging the gap between the ancient world and the modern landscape. From the deep esoteric wisdom of ancient Kemet to a grounded naturalist view of our world today, no topic is off limits. We're dissecting philosophy, breaking down ancient civilizations, and clashing over modern day politics every Tuesday. This isn't just a lecture, it's a debate. A powerhouse arena where your voice matters. A premier space to step up, voice your opinions, and challenge your perspective with the sharpest minds around. If you love real, raw, intellectual fire, this is the show for you. Elevate your mind, bring your arguments. Subscribe to the Cave of Knowledge with Humble Mystic today. New episodes drop every Tuesday on Coliseum of Arguments. Step into the cave if you think you can handle the truth. Titans Debate League. Only the brave speak here.
Yeah, man. Before we continue, I want you to know that I appreciate all the support from the chat, each and every one of you that's in the chat, man. I appreciate it when you come through while we giving this information live. I know we setting for it and making sure we getting information out so future generations can also look at this and if they have questions. But I want to give a shout out to the chat, to Hootie. Shout out to Melanated Goddess. I see her in the chat. I see, of course, the Coliseum of Arguments. My man's Michigan. Natural Living, always in the building. Dios Mios. We got P3D14 in the chat. Titans Debate League. Of course, last but not least, never, my man J Snake 65. He always been a part of every one of my streams that I done did since I've been a part of this. So I want to give a shout out to the chat right now. You know we here. We know you're here in support. Humble, you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mic check 1 2 1 2. How I'm doing, Quantum?
You sounding good. You sounding good.
Hey, my man. You know that's what I love to hear. You already know. Shout out to the chat, man. Like Brother Quantum already said, we appreciate all y'all for giving y'all engagement, just being here with us. And hey, y'all know this one of my favorite subjects. I'm ready to get it in.
Yeah, man. Remember, this is an investigative journey for all the Titans and everybody that's fighting to be enlightened. Remember to watch for the snakes that's striking and the dogs that's biting. When I say that, that's very important. I know everybody who are on the track to enlightenment know what I'm talking about. So let's get into it, man. Let me remove me and Humble real quick so y'all can see the slide. And it looked like the comments are showing. It might be in the way. So I'm going to take that down for a minute. Let me see. We're going to get back to this and get to this first slide. We got KEMET, religion, philosophy, cosmic order, power, and identity. Now, before we move 1 inch further, I want everybody to look at what this first slide is actually asking. It doesn't say KEMET was perfect. It doesn't say KEMET was the beginning of everything. It doesn't say that Black Americans are Egyptian. It doesn't even ask us whether we should practice the Kemetic system today. It asks something prior to all of that. What did the people of Kemet believe about existence? How did they understand nature and order, humanity, and the cosmos? and what, if anything, survives philosophical examination and is still with us today. That's exactly how this entire inquiry comes in. We got A1 to the stage. Dang. Let me put that back up real quick before we continue. What up, A1? Oh, he smashed out. So we're gonna get back to it. Humble, can you speak on them topics real quick and give us a little view about
What was the second thing you said? You said, how did Kemet look at existence, and how did the people of Kemet? What did the people of Kemet believe about existence? What was the second one you said?
how did they understand like nature and order,
Okay.
humanity? That's basically getting
And
into
so,
what.
most definitely, one thing I want the family to understand about the culture of Kemet, if y'all don't know, that they didn't separate religion from politics like we do today in America. Their systems was completely interconnected. Um, and so uh he said, why can't we see who talking? And so wow, today people in Kemet believed about nature that nature was an interactive thing, right? The Netaru are not gods in the Western religious sense, right? They're not deities. They are personified forces of nature that the people themselves worked with. Now, of course, not everybody in Kemet, you see what I'm saying? Because, of course, they had hierarchies and things of that nature, but they understood that the environment around them was important, and it was literally the sustainer of life. So when you get back to the root of Kemet philosophy, if one wants to call it, we must first understand that what the Kemet people was looking for was what sustained life and what was the essence of life itself. You see what I'm saying? So I hope I summarized that in a great point, Brother Quantum.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the points we wanted to look at, because for me it's real important that people understand exactly for, well, I ain't gonna say people, for people like me, so I have to be talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for me to actually understand what those people were doing at that time, if I'm gonna make an assumption about those those things, because and y'all talk about it all the time, being over here in the Western civilization and
Mm-hmm.
coming up with Western education and minimal education about that system, not
Right.
only because the system isn't over here, but because they don't think that the system um, should have any bearing over here. I think that's the way that Herc usually says it. And
Right.
so, you know what I'm saying? Some people don't know that religion and politics overlapped when
Mm-hmm.
they see the symbolism. Like, and so I wanted to get into that because that's a big aspect in getting our understanding correct. My bad. Sorry, y'all. I'm in the chat. Tahuti. Tahuti, you want to come up, man? You ain't got to time up. He gave us this source. Maybe I need to look that up real quick. But for the let me get another question. What is when we talk about existence, what is
Mm-hmm.
existence? Explain like, I guess that
So
would be
Are you saying you want to know what existence was to the Cometian people?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Okay, I got you. So the Kemetic people looked at existence in terms of uh things that we can physically interact with. If something was interactive, then it exists. And the Kemetic people believed that everything that exists carry in their form they would say a ka, or a ba, everything carried a certain energy about it, right? Now that does not mean that they believe that everything was alive. No, they just understood the essence of nature, right? And so, and another thing I do want to make very clear about even existence is they did what we do today, just on another scale, right? We venerate Michael Jordan, we venerate Triple H, we venerate the greats and the things that we pay attention to. And so for the Kemetic people, they venerated nature because they knew that without this sustainable ecosystem, then there would be no existence. And so they venerated the Happy, they venerated Ray, they venerated Hathor, right? And a lot of times when people listen to these things, because the name is so synonymous with the deity, they fail to realize that when someone said the word Shu, they wasn't always talking about the deity. They literally, Shu is literally the word for wind or air, right? Whenever they said the word Ray, they wasn't always talking about the deity. Ray is literally the word for the sun. Whenever they said Hop, they wasn't always talking about the deity. They were talking about the Nile. And so to understand these things, you'll start to see the complexities in their culture. And then what you can do is you can start to put these concepts in proper perspective. So when you hear brothers like myself or Brother Tahuti, Brother Samkar, the other brothers out here who speak on Kemet, when we're speaking about a certain aspect of Kemet, you'll know how to differentiate the difference between whether we're speaking about the deity itself or whether we're speaking about it in a context of what quantum is going to get into in a philosophical sense, almost to speak, if we can use that word.
Gotcha. And what about order? Can you tell us a little bit about order? And I'm sure we're gonna get
Yeah,
deeper into it the further we go on. But I just want to
right.
start with the simplification. Well, not
So my
simplification.
eye, a lot of people know my eye is um uh popular amongst the Netaru. A lot of people, even if you know a little bit about the Netas, my art, right? Which is reciprocity, justice, balance, and order. And this very concept is what allow existence to exist, right? This concept is literally what people in physics would call the laws of physics, the very thing that allow um life, the very thing that allow existence, the very thing that allows what you will call, Brother Quantum, formation to happen in this realm. You see what I'm saying? This realm that we call the existent realm. And so when we dealing with my eye and we dealing with balance and reciprocity and things of that nature, that's looked at as the underlying foundation on what all of this, what we call existence, is built.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And can you touch on what is nature?
Um, nature for the Kemetic people, nature was looked at as the great sustainer of life. And so whatever sustained life was looked at as nature, right? And so I know we just seen this big debate go around with Reggie and Jabari, was Netaru literal or non-literal or symbolic. I hold the view that they're both. And the reason is because we can see the Kemetic people venerating their mothers because they bring forth life. They understand the importance of childbirth. You can see the Kemetic people venerating the sun, Re, because they understand that it brings forth life. You can see them venerating Hapi because they understand that the flow of the Nile bring forth life. And so when we're dealing with them and asking what is nature, they believe that nature is that which sustains life.
And what is the human being in well, before we continue, I forgot we got Meta Williams to the stage.
What up, fam? What up? Welcome.
How you
And I
doing?
think
How y'all doing, great brothers? I'm checking out the bill. I'm I'm enjoying what I'm hearing, man.
Appreciate you.
But
appreciate
we
appreciate
but we can get it a little bit more depth for the audience to understand because when we speak on nature and then we go to nature, you can go to the cosmos, or you can literally say the term God. So nature is unforgiving, and God is what? Especially when we're speaking on the natural rule. Would you say God is forgiving and nature is what? A
That
concept?
uh,
you. Okay.
so that's why I really, if I may just respond, I ain't gonna be long. That's why I started off by saying it's very important to understand that from the perspective of the Cometian people, the Netaru were not looked at as gods. The Netaru are something that can be worked with, can be experienced. You see what I'm saying? They didn't worship the Netaru as the Christians worship God today. No, they worked with the Netaru. And so that's the one of the biggest difference I often have to cover when dealing with the Netaru is we have to separate them from this God concept, right? That concept was placed upon the Netaru much later. And so if we're going to deal with the Netaru, right, being nature, then we have to deal with them and how they operated within that aspect of nature, right? Like for an example, people just wasn't walking around praising Happy. That's not how that worked. People worked with Happy. They worked with the flooding of the Nile. You see what I'm saying? And when they did that, they brought back results. Same thing with Hathor, right? People, oh, they was worshiping Hathor. No. Hathor is a healing energy. And so a lot of times when you see temples to Hathor, those were ancient hospitals, so to speak. They wasn't in there just praying for people, oh, Hathor, come heal her. No, they was in there really working on people, getting surgery done. Now, sure, everybody, we got Christians today that pray and things of that nature. You know, of course they had incantations, but that doesn't mean that what they were doing was what people of the religion today do. And the reason I wanted to piggyback off of that is because it's really easy to tie these two together. It's really easy to tie the Netaru and gods together. And I'm just saying that things get confusing when people do that because the Netaru lose their definitive foundation. You see what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to say that. I land my plane with that. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Brother Quantum.
Well, my
Absolutely,
my
absolutely.
understanding my understanding of the natural rules is more of concept. Is because there's been this great debate going on, either the natural rules literal or non-literal. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You are a little kind of soft, but I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can hear you.
We
So
got Tahuti.
and the concept of the natural rule of being literal or non-literal real, I understand, but at the same time, we also gotta understand that our ancestors, not literal ancestors, our melanated brothers and sisters, because it was a thing about that. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
had it.
Let's not hold on. Meta, we gonna because we gonna get into that subject later on. And so if you can hold right there, um, we gonna try to stick on nature right now. We got to Hootie Afardo to the stage. To Hootie,
Hold up, family. Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah, loud and clear. Um,
Definitely.
we just started kind of, and we just touching on some of the basic aspects. Um, I already kind of asked Humble and he touched on it. So since I got you and Meta up, we'll go ahead and ask y'all the same questions too, um, just in case you put it a little different way so people can understand it. Um, when we talk about existence and order and nature, because you can throw them all together. Now I was going one by one when I started, but since we already started it, can you kind of give us a rundown of how you understand not us, but the commission people. Um,
Yeah,
looked at these
so
things.
even, and I'm gonna just give an example of new age, but I'm gonna be short. So, like, even in the new age concept with oneness and everything is all in Kemet, Amen was the supreme divination. Obviously, it would change at most times, but from the Kemet aspect, Amen was a supreme divination, and Asar, Haru, Ma'at, Shu, Happy were only aspects of Amen Ra or Amen. So, and Amen is existence in the entirety. So, existence is being, alive, and obviously being in tune with nature because you're with one with nature. So that's pretty much sums it up to be short.
Got you, got you. Meta, you want to go ahead and touch on those three all together?
Yeah. It, but we also have to understand as far as the concept, as far as our ancestors were were they dealing when they made the concept up with a different realm of existence as far as dealing with afterlife and so on, you know, and they was pinpointing certain concepts. Okay, this is the sun, this is air, this is the ground, this is earth, or however you may. But when we really go offhand is when we deify it without taking into consideration of what these symbols mean. You know, because I can take a concept and go straight left with it, and then call it a god. And then that's where we all get misconstrued at, is when we label it as God, but then we're not understanding the concepts of what our people was trying to say as far as existing on earth and life, and even, different planes, because if we break down some of the ancient texts and things like that, if you take atum, atum is what? Then later in biblical teachings, here go Adam. So it's we just gotta brush through it with a fine comb, man, and take in and just go step by step with it and understand it. That's all I gotta add to it. Hello?
Yep. We right here with it. We right here with it. That was a great summary, brother. We appreciate you for that. Go ahead, brother Quantum. You back?
Yeah. My bad. Thank you for that because I was kind of muted. Yeah, I jumped ahead in my slides because we was kind of touching on some of the deities, and we're gonna get to them later too, so we can get to them. But like Meta said, some of us don't understand these things, and that's why I'm asking questions. So when I'm talking tonight, if I say anything wrong, because like I told you, I did my research, but it was on a different end, and so that's why I'm asking questions. So if I say something wrong, y'all be sure to correct me. If I pronounce a word wrong or something like that, I want y'all to make sure y'all correct me because that's what we are here for. So so we talked about that. What did the how did Kemet look at the actual human being, and what did they look at as themselves, or how did they the outlook on themselves? I think if I'm asking that question correct.
Who you asking, brother Quantum?
We'll start. Well, we always gonna start with you since you at the top. You came in first, and we'll just
Okay.
go in that order. You,
All right.
Matter, and then Tahuti, unless somebody want to jump in quicker than that.
And so the Kemetic people looked at the human being in a multifaceted ways, in a multi-layered way. You have your Ka, which is your spirit body. Then you have your Ba. Then you have your Ankh. Then you have your Ib. You know what I'm saying? And each one of these facets of the thing we call a person or a human um, was, labeled and gave his own category. And, yep, right there, you got it. And so so this is right here on the screen. This is how they saw the body, the human, right? When you asking like, okay, well, what comprised of the human? This was their, if we want to call once again a philosophy, their way of describing what the human was.
Definitely. So they also viewed themselves as um wanting to they saw themselves as the supreme creation or end result of existence, going back to what Quantum first brought up. So to put it all together, the goal was to become a SAR and to recognize their whole physicality as being like a SAR, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a um, metaphorical standpoint too. They wanted to be buried. Everybody at one point in time wanted to have having a Saurian burial. So the point being is they wanted to see themselves in the highest divination, and the goal was to create heaven on earth per se. So they saw humanity as something that was very valuable, and life itself they saw it as being very valuable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bet. Before you go, Matter, I just noticed something, and I could be wrong. Humble, you did help Suave in our debate.
Hmm?
Suave
What the
mentioned Ka. Suave mentioned Ka, and I didn't know what Ka was at that time. I remember you started laughing when he said that. Was you helping Suave in that? Well, we
no?
gonna we
What
gonna
was,
get me.
what was
We
the
gonna
cop?
talk about
Wait.
that
What was y'all debate? What was y'all debate?
we was debating about time and nature, but in my question and answer round, I asked him a question, and he said the ka, and he had said it earlier, which leads me to believe that you may have
Oh
assisted
no,
him.
that is that's just a coincidence. Hey yo, that is funny. That is
We're gonna get back to that later on. I'm sure we're
Hey,
gonna do
can
a
I
mid-march party and get to that.
just address something too?
Absolutely. Go
So
ahead.
the committee you, our ancestors, the committee you saw human beings or the human body as having 9 dimensions. Um, Again, in New Age, spirituality, the New Age people, they'll say ether nine. So that relates to the 9 dimensions. You named a few of them, but you have the Sahu, you have Ket, you have
Mhm.
Kaibit, you have Ren, you have Sakim, Ka,
Mhm.
Ab, Ba, and Ak. So
Mhm.
those 9 dimensions, they recognize the human being as having those 9 aspects.
Exactly.
So I
Right.
just want to add that as well.
That. I'm because I can't hold on. I have to pull this up
Can I
because what
piggyback
I
off
see
that?
on the screen is pretty much a good rendition, just an overview of basically what we're talking about here, right? How did the Kemetic people see the human, right? They see the human having a Ka, the vital spark of life force, the Ba, the mobile personality, consciousness, right? Ankh, the effectively equipped, transfigured spirit, the Ren, the brother listed Ren earlier, the identity, right, required for existence, and the physical body was the anchor, right? They have the ib, which is the heart, right? The seat of thought, emotions, and memory. You see what I'm saying? So this is how they saw the functions um of the human being.
Well, can I? Well, would you say that's something like what you call the Makerba then? The Ka and the
Huh?
Ba? The Makerba?
The
The
Makaba.
Ka and the Ba? Yeah,
Just as I think Tahuti was talking about that earlier, that being like a new age thing.
right.
Um, but the concept of the Merkaba, uh, I do think that they understood that concept. I don't think they called it the Merkaba though, but I do think they understood the concept that we had energy fields around us, or we had vital life force around us.
So what about the chakra system that that they displayed?
Um, I would say
Because
they had their own concept. I wouldn't call it the chakra system. The Netaru, one thing I should figure out about the Netaru is the Netaru was also associated with a major organ or gland in the body. And so if we want to compare to the chakra system, we can. However, they got their differences. So
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
address that
'cause
question.
the reason why I said that because Dr. Hagen did a presentation a while back, and he said the same thing as far as um, the ancestors didn't call it the chakra
mhm.
system, but they had concepts of what you would say this chakra system. You
Right,
know what I
right,
mean? Different names. I'm gonna have to get the because when I seen it, I had to take it, and then this was years ago, but
yeah.
I'm most definitely bring it back up.
They had,
And
if I may, and I'm gonna let you get it into Hootie. A lot of people be surprised to hear that the Kemetic people had their own version of a lot of things. Like they came up with a form of self-defense, right? Their own form of martial arts. They didn't copy that from anybody. They
yeah,
came
right,
up with their own form of yoga. They didn't copy that from anybody.
right,
Their own breath techniques. They didn't copy that from anybody.
right.
So when people try to like, oh well, yeah, they had yoga too. Yeah, but that was
Yeah,
their own
Madame Blavatsky.
context of what they were, dealing with within their environment. This didn't have no influence of India. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that studies the body, and this is the thing that people don't really understand. Anybody, any physician, any biologist who studies the body understand that we have a network system in our body. Why do you think these people, well, not you, brother, but why do some of these people think that the ancients wouldn't have understood that either?
Exactly. So, but just to piggyback what you were speaking about, the nine, right? And it has to do with DNA and like some say nine ethers, But then if we dig into it, we are nine, right? And those that's melanated are nine. But then you have five, well seven. You got seven, and then you got five, which is a monkey. I just wanted to say that because then
Mhm.
it was like, oh, how can y'all more closer than a monkey than we are? You know what I'm saying? So,
And let me
Mhm.
address the chakra question and like the yoga and all that.
Mhm.
So, specifically, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was during the sixth dynasty. Um, maybe some other dynasty, but anyway, Kemet ventured into Tata Mill, and the trade off was lapis lazuli for uh, pretty much culture. So with that, now you have this, stigma or this propaganda or this belief that yoga comes from India, ancient India. But just like uh, Humble said, it actually comes from Kemet, and they call it Smai Tawi, the union of the two lands. That also means figuratively the union of the mind and the body, because those are the two lands when it comes to the
Mhm.
human being. Those are the two planes when it comes to the human being. So, one of the nine dimensions is Sekim. Sekim means the power of someone and the ashe that they exert onto the world, onto the universe. So it would be accurate to call chakra Sakim, maybe Sakimra, your Sakimras. You see what I'm saying? If you was to
Right.
reconstruct uh, yoga in a Kemetic sense, you would interchange chakra with Sakimra or Sakim.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just want to end with that.
No, that's yeah.
Okay, okay. Got you. What about justice? What in the in Kemet, what is justice?
So
My aunt.
justice is ma'at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why an African word actually translates to 4 to 7 to even 10 English words. If you understand ma'at, you know that it means balance, it means order, it means law, it means truth, it means reciprocity, justice, and it also means mathematics because the Europeans saw fit to use ma'at and to use Matthew as well to represent law and order and equality in mathematics in the use of numbers.
You guys are humble.
My bad. I don't know what the hell just happened. Can you repeat that question, Brody?
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
And if y'all got slides or anything that y'all want to show when we come, just let me know, man. Pull them up. If y'all got some information that y'all think I might
okay.
want to know that y'all came across when y'all been doing y'all thing. Remember, treat me
Right.
like I'm the teenage you coming across it. Oh yeah, I remember it. If you remember something, or you got some slides,
Right.
come in. Yeah, we was just right now, humble. We was just touching on the basis of justice, what the people of Kemet thought
Okay.
about justice.
Um. So justice, like we said, my aunt, was being in harmony with what we're talking about, mature, right? When you're doing something justified, or when you're living a righteous life, as a lot of people call it, then you're living in my eye. It's fat. I see you got it's fed up there. It's the opposite of my eye. It's chaos, right? And we actually, so speaking about my eye injustice, we actually see my eye today, brother Corner. Man, you had a conversation about this, I believe, the other day. We were talking about cultures, right? Well, we have a statue in New York, right, called Lady Liberty. Who do y'all think that is? Right? We see her with what in her hand? Right? She's represented whenever we go to a court system or something. What do we see on a court system? On a court building, right? Scales. What do y'all think that is? That is my eye. So we operate in these things today. We just have to be aware of how we operate in these things, right? People use these things against us today. We just have to be aware of how they use them against us. My aunt hasn't gone anywhere.
Bleh. And
Well, I feel like time. I agree with both of the brothers. I feel like time play a big part against us because um, once the Gregorian calendar, when they started tracking time, we and then they turned it back around to us. We lost track of time. You
If
know what I mean?
Right. If I may, really fast. Hey, brother Quan, do you want to go over some of these slides, man? Listen, you got some good slides here. We can go over some of these
yeah,
slides.
yeah, no, yeah. We just that's what I'm doing. I'm just tightening
Okay.
up, getting the overview of these things, and then we're gonna go back to these slides. So when we was
Okay.
talking about it, I was just kind of trying to find to keep a visual
This is
to
what
get
Tahuti
everybody.
was talking about earlier when this is the scene of judgment. This is a profound
Hmm.
scene. And who you got right there in the middle with them scales? That's my eye, right? That's justice.
Right, bet. Yeah, and that's what I was. So that's why I was kind of touching on it, just getting everything. What about death? What did the Kemet people see or think about death? Their concept.
Um, they had a concept of an afterlife. They had a concept that just like people got a concept of they're going to be in heaven with God. They had a concept that um after this round there was another life where they either you know hang out with the Netaru in the higher realms, or you know, they went to the underground. You know, Ampu took them to the underground. Now, a lot of people talk about Osiris and Ampu when dealing with death, and there's some concepts that are misleading that need to be cleared up. Um, Osiris, right, was the guide. He's the one that, when you passed away, he guided you. Later on, that concept became synonymous with Ampu. Ampu, most people know him as Anubis. Osiris Sa. And Ampu, most people look at him as Anubis. He sensed death, right? So he knew when death was near. This is why dogs, or as we see here, the jackal, dogs was very prevalent in the Kemetic culture because it was said that they could sense death. They knew when a person was about to die. So a lot of times, and the reason I want to clear that up, because a lot of times when we hear about Ampu and Asa and they're related to death, we hear about them being a god of death or the god of the underworld or a person that ruled it. No, 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 no. These were one. Anpu was a person, or let me reframe that. I apologize. Anpu was a neter that could smell death, and Asa was someone who was guiding you through the underworld. So that's the clear that up.
So can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, with the judgment scene with Muat, your heart got it way lighter than the feather. See,
Mm-hmm.
Ampu, which is the jackal, Asar is to carry you on. But
Mm-hmm.
what the jackal does is it buries the bone, then later come back and retrieve it. But what I'm saying is that if your heart don't weigh as light as this feather, you can't transition into a sar. But
Mm-hmm.
Ampu, well, it's like more like a reincarnation.
Yeah.
As far as you
Well,
have to do
if
it
you can go
all
back to
over
that
again.
picture, Quantum, go back to that picture real fast. I'm gonna explain something interesting here. All right. So we see a setback in the back, right, of Tahuti,
Hmm.
right? So now, if your heart is lighter than a feather, right, you go on to be a sub. If it's
Right.
not, you get fed to setback.
To set that, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get buried, and then here comes Lewis. He picks you. He digs you back up as far as reincarnation. So
Yes.
you have
Yes.
to you have to do it all over again.
Right. Right. The what people will call I guess in today's language, a way of understanding it is a karmic cycle. Yes.
So that's why it's like keeping Mu'at. It's keeping Mu'at is
Now, really fast, I want to be clear that all of these concepts, or a lot of the concepts that we're speaking about, a lot of them didn't exist during one period at one time, right? We're speaking about enormous range of time period here. And so
mm,
there were in the earlier periods, you see what I'm saying, a lot of things that we attribute to the natural, they wasn't always there in the beginning. So this is why a lot of times I say it's important for us to understand what time period are we talking about to ascribe these things to these natural, because in the 18th dynasty they was looked at as one way, and in the third dynasty they was looked at in a totally different way. You see what I'm
I
saying?
agree. I agree. I agree with you because um, then in certain periods, you had the Greeks and you had certain invaders,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So and then certain invaders is breeding with inside Kemet. So, you know, the winner write history type of
Yeah.
concept. You
Yeah.
understand? So, but as far as uh the concepts of the natural rule, then we have to go into where it really take its toll on the whole humanity as far as once uh how would I say um um there's no longer deities and it's just one. Um man, help me out. Monotheism, you know,
Mm. Yeah,
you
I
feel
don't,
me?
and so that's the issue with trying to pinpoint the Kemetic system as a religion. Like it don't fall. I guess it would fall into the realm of polytheism, but
Right,
the issue with that is once again they worked with the Neteru. Like it's not like the Kemetic people didn't understand that she wasn't the wind. Like they understood that and they did great works with that. It's not like the Kemetic people didn't understand that Hapi was the flowing of the Nile. Like that's how they started to create irrigation systems. You see what I'm saying? So
right,
they understood the nature of the Neteru. And I think a lot of times because people have a religious worldview to things, then they try to clump them together. Which I'm not saying that all things you can't not clump, you can't not see the similarities in all things. But what I am saying is when you want to understand the essence of what the Neteru were, then you have to go back to the same forces of nature that we have today. It's so interesting that the Neteru are lit like Ray, the sun. Ray ain't
right,
nothing different back then than what we see the sun is today. We just using a different word. It's the same thing. Wind
right.
and shoot. You see what I'm saying? Rain and
Mhm.
toughness. All of that is the same thing. It's just that they venerated it. And so in doing the veneration to it, because they understood the sacredcy of it, people mush that in with it being a god. And it's like, well, you wouldn't call rain a god. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
Hey, real quick, let me address uh the afterlife and the
Mhm,
way they seen that. So the per Emet Haru,
mhm,
it's the we know it as the book of coming forth by day. They a lot of people know it as the book of the dead, but it's not so much about the afterlife, but it's a testament to the daily trials and tribulations that we overcome each day, and we go through tests, and we overcome these trials every day, and it's a testament to see how much we are of true a voice and a champion of Ma'at. That's why you have Ma'a Haru as a concept within the Per M Haru. And I want to cite Dr. Wade Nobles as far as Iron laying that out. He has a book called Seeking the Saku or Seeking the Saku Foundational Writings for an African Psychology. And I want to read something. It comes from that book out of page 332. The ancient Kemetic definition of the human being emphasized, at minimum, the consubstantiality of the primordial substance and the phenomenal expressions, the primacy of the person, perpetual evolution, and eternal life. The character of the person was continually challenged in response to the challenge of one's destiny. And I just want to point that out because, as I said in the back chat, and as I always say, African teachings are figurative. They have layers. to their teachings. Even to this day, you know that um, the famous battle between uh, Haru and Set is symbolic in multiple ways. So I just want to end with that.
And man, that was right on time too. Because when we talking about the primordial waters, you know, um, from my understanding, that's feminine, which you'll call chaos. When chaos goes inside itself, that's that's us, you know. And when Asar got chopped up to 14 pieces, you know, and then he had to bring it back together. That's he's been reborn. That's the first record of what we'll say reincarnation, you know. But then that goes back to show what we were speaking on Muat and the judgment scene. If you don't uh, have a chance to become a Sar, guess what? You chop back up, you know.
I just wanna a Quantum. I'm gonna turn my background off really fast. I just want to show the people this, right? Because you had the judgment scene, and I want to actually show it in a book. Hold on, but I want to turn my thing. I gotta turn my thing off to do it. Though. Okay, bang. All right. So this is what we was talking about earlier, the Perham Haru. Now, this right here is Wallace Budge's translation. I would always say cross-reference this, always cross-reference this, but this is always a good starting point to at least get some of the concepts down. This, as we can see, is the judgment scene. If y'all can see that. You see what I'm saying? So the same thing that Quantum had on his slide, right? You got I can't really see him here. You got Thove, you got Setback, you got Ampu, and even it calls him Ampu, right? But see, here's my issue with Wallace Budge's translation, right? Here, instead of saying the Neteru or saying the Neters, he used gods. This is the god of this. This is the god of Anubis. This is the god of no. These right here, what you're seeing are not, this is not their literal. Now, this is what Jabari be talking about when we have to say the Neteru are not literal, right? Listen to this. What you see on this stele is not the literal embodiment, if so to speak, right? This is not how they actually look. This is just a representation of them, a symbolic fashion of them, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? So when people like myself and Jabari say that Neteru are not literal, we're saying that Thoth does not look like this. There is no man with an ibis head walking around looking like this ever walk the earth. Thoth is a concept for intelligence. You see what I'm saying? We clearly can't hold intelligence in our hand. We can, physically measure it, see it, touch it. So the Kemetic people came up with a concept for intelligence called Jehudi. And so that's how that operates. I'll land my plane with that, Brother Quantum. Go ahead, Brody.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and you showing that book. Can you hold that? Dang, you put your camera back on. Can you hold it up one more time for those, so I can make sure I got it on track? So when I start doing some more of my investigations, I can make sure.
You want me to hold up that specific scene?
No, just the book, the title of the book cover again, and the author. Can you say the name and the author again?
Oh yeah. This is the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Perham Haru. This is Wallace Budge's. This is Wallace. Oh no, I'm actually wrong. Oh yeah, no. This is translated by E.A. Wallace Budge. edited with instruction by John Ballack. So,
but did you see the the concepts on top, the 12, which has been used to this day, judged by 12, everything. The whole
mm-hmm,
concept of the whole concept of that judgment scene is being used today in
yeah,
real time.
in real time. Yep, that's true. Right,
That was
jury. If you see the judgment, if hold on, let me see if I can, because the people that's above the judgment scene, what you'll see is that it is a um the jury is it's a what we would call a hung jury, right? Like half of the people voted one way, the other half voted the other way. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? So
what's
Let
the
me
name of
also
that? Let me
say
see if
something
I can.
about the book so everybody can understand how the figurative and the way we teach things from even the committee point of view and even today. So first of all, the sacred text is called the Pert M Haru. Remember, it's known as the book uh, of
Coming forth by
coming
day.
forth by day,
Yep.
or the book of becoming the hero. But get this, right? And this goes back to, what we were talking about in another chat about good morning, right? We
Mm,
know the word Haru is also the word for day and awake. So if I really want to revive my ancestral language, and all that, I'm just going to say Nefer Haru. I'm not going to
mm,
say good morning. I'm going to say Nefer Haru. But I'm telling you
mm,
this to tell you that it's called the book of becoming the hero, or the book of coming forth by day,
forth
to
by
let
day.
you know that, right, that let you know that it's your goal every day while you're alive to become the best you can be. And you face this trial and
Mm-hmm.
tribulation so you can be that, you can embody the afterlife while you're living, per
Mm-hmm.
se.
Yeah, so that's a fact. The Kemetic people didn't believe, like one of the misconceptions of the title, just like Brother Tahuti pointed out, of the Book of the Dead, is people strictly look at it as a strict funerary text. But the Per M Haru is instructions on how the Kemetic people lived their life while they were living to prepare for what was coming after. It wasn't something that you read and be like, oh, well, this is what's going to go on in the afterlife. No, it was something that you studied and say, okay, let me gain these attributes to prepare myself for the afterlife, because we know that's one thing that's inevitable is death. You don't think they knew that? Like, they knew one inevitable thing about life was that at some point you was going to transition. And so they wrote text about how to prepare yourself for that transition, which I may add is an amazing philosophy, if we can call it that today. And one of the reasons I would say that's an amazing philosophy that we even today still haven't grasped, because today we see how hard it is to see or to lose a loved one. And then when we lose a loved one, right, what happened? We all go up in shambles. What we going to do? How we going to, did they have health insurance? Because they didn't prepare for what was inevitably to come. And so I think that if a lot of people adopt that philosophy more of, we'd be good. If we actually start adopting our people, preparing them for what's to come.
Definitely,
But
definitely.
first thing is is the fear that we've been doctrinized. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the fear of death. You know, because if we can go to science, energy never dies.
That's a
If
fact.
if you pass out, if you pass out right now, they hit you with the paddles, you coming back. If you know, it all depends on the severeness of your injury or whatever. But to you know, is what it is that the Roman Catholic Church had to demonize us because they did a number on us. You know, had to demonize our ancestors and our tradition. Because as of right now, you and I, we don't have a culture. Hip hop is not a culture. Selling drugs, being gangster is not a culture for us. So what they did was they doctrinized us and literally just said this is if you don't do this is what's gonna happen to you. You're going to hell. Don't nobody want to go to hell. You know, so we accepted those concepts of Christianity and without even knowing or going outside the book of where it stemmed from, you know, because Christianity just didn't pop up overnight. And it most definitely wasn't spreaded from love, you know. So get back to the subject as far as our ancestors, you know, is we really have to dig in and go with inside ourselves because that's exactly what our ancestors is telling us is go inside yourself, become a star, you know, be a warrior like Haru, you know, love your woman, I said, and come forward. Let me play.
I got you. Yeah, so let's go ahead and push this information forward, like my man Omar say. Shout out Omar, shout out the chat. I see y'all active, asking questions amongst yourselves. Um, and remember, for me, this ain't no pushback. So we're gonna go ahead and get to this slide right here and touch particularly on before the pharaohs, the formation of Kemet. Before we get back into Mayat, before Ptah and Osiris and Isis, before we start trying to understand what the Neteru represented, I want to understand something simpler real quick. What kind of world were these people looking at? Because nobody develops a worldview in an empty room. People observe where they live, they watch what happens around them, they notice what returns and what disappears, what threatens them, what feeds them, what kills them, and what seems dependable. And that's why I like this second slide. Um, for us, we put together the Nile, the sun, the desert, and burial. It also places us geographically between Upper and Lower Egypt with locations such as Abydos and Heracompolis. And if I'm saying those wrong, when y'all start speaking, please let me know. But these represented on the map. So before I start explaining what the Egyptians eventually concluded, I want to understand the environment with which those conclusions developed. So we're gonna start with the Nile, because this is the obvious subject. If we're gonna understand ancient Egypt, we got to understand the Nile. Egypt developed in an environment where human life depended heavily upon the river moving through a otherwise extremely dry landscape. And historically, the Nile the Nile's annual inundation was enormously important to Egyptian agriculture. Water and sediment renewed the agricultural land along the river and helped make extensive farming possible. So imagine living in that environment without our modern scientific vocabulary. Um, you're watching something repeat. The river rises, the land is inundated, the water withdraws, the agricultural land becomes productive, plants grow, food comes from the soil. Then the process happens again and again and again. Now, here's where I want to ask my Kemetic practitioners something as a student. How important is denial to understanding the Kemetic philosophy itself?
Very important. That's literally looked at as the source of denial. You see what I'm saying? The source of Kemet. Like, so it's very important. Um, and so if not the most important, because without that, then nothing else could have been possible. They couldn't farm. They couldn't build irrigation systems. They couldn't feed their livestock. They couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So without denial, life in Kemet couldn't be possible.
Thank you, Humble. Tahuti or Metter, whichever one want to go. Y'all want to touch on that?
Well, the now. So it was very important. You know, agriculture and everything else. It kept so many secrets that we still haven't even um, really got together and dig up and do our own research. But with the now, I will, if the brothers may agree or may just not, you know, um, I would say the now and the Mississippi is similar, and they go hand in hand. But the now, when it taught our Kemetic ancestors of how to forge different boats and travels. So we didn't just stay in one place. You know what I mean? For the simple fact that um, the Nile could be fierce at times, like the sea. And so as we learned the Nile and fished and navigated, we understood how to venture off to other lands.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Tahuti, you want to touch on that for us, please?
So who he dropped down, Quantum? He said he'd be back up.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hey,
My
bro.
bad.
Hey, bro. So
We
the
got
Nile
Omar
and
on
the
the
Mississippi.
panel, Quantum.
Who?
We got
Oh,
Omar on the panel.
my bad, Omar. I didn't even hear you come in, Omar. How you doing this morning, bruv? It ain't morning where you at, but
It was going down. Holy shalom, everybody. I'm doing good. Yeah, it's only 10:48 where I'm at. So yeah, man. Um, I am coming in late. I didn't really get to see your whole. I don't know how far you in your presentation. What I'm hearing so far is pretty good, but the last brother who was just speaking, because I can't see the panel. What was the last brother that was just speaking name? Not humble.
Yeah.
Brother. It's Shalom humble and shalom to
Met,
the brother on the panel too.
that's Metter Williams.
Okay. I came on because I heard something about, oh yeah, they had love and everything else. We not being true to the text. I got a question for that brother. Um, that stele all the way to the right. What's the name of that stele? If he knows, all the
The
way to the right.
judgment tree, the judgment tablet.
Okay. Now the person that's standing up with an object in his hand, the person that's on the ground that he getting ready to bust their head open. Who is that? Or what people is he from?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, brother.
So I can't. Let me see. Put it back up, bro.
No, you're talking about the Narma palette right here.
He
The
talking about right
normal
here.
palette.
It's on the
Yeah, the
stage.
normal.
Right there.
So that
No, humble. I'm not.
go ahead, bro.
I,
I'm muting up. I'm
I,
muting up.
Hey, I want,
I already
hey,
know. You know, I'm asking him.
hey, Omar, and I'm gonna let you finish your little this one question.
Okay. I'm
Hold
on
on,
my phone.
hold on, Metter. And Omar, I'm gonna let you finish this next question. But remember, I'm doing the investigative journey. This is one of my investigative journeys to teach people what this is. I know that you gonna have some pushback and your questions are like that, but we ain't necessarily trying to see what people know and doing none of that right there for this presentation.
Got
But I'm
you.
gonna let you continue with this
Okay.
little
Okay.
piece right here on this slide. Thank you.
Okay. And I mean, I just wanted him to address one thing because um all I don't know how long he was talking. I've only been chiming in maybe for about like maybe 15 minutes, but once he started talking, I just heard him saying like all these nice and wonderful things, and then something caught my eye, which was this the Narma's palette, and I'm seeing what looks like a comedic person standing over another guy, basically submitting, but not only that, getting ready to crack him upside his head, bust him open to the white meat. More than likely unalive the guy. Where is that guy from? The one that's on his knees. If
Okay,
if
okay.
if if if
I,
if
I
if
got
if
you. So to
if he
answer,
doesn't know, if he doesn't know, that's fine. Somebody else can just let me know where is he from. But that's it. Because then I'm
I
gonna
got
land my plane. I just want to know who who is he, or what people does he represent, or where is he from?
I got you. And to answer a couple of your questions real quick before Humble, because I know Humble got all the answers for you. We've been going for about an hour and 42. We've been going for about an hour and 42 minutes. This is just the second slide of the presentation. So I'm sure some of your other questions will probably get answered without you having to say something. But of course, like I said, this is always investigative too. So when you are doing your investigative questioning, thanks for giving it. Like you said, you just want to know who them people are because we ain't trying to push back against nothing. We're just trying to learn. So go ahead, Humble.
All
And
right.
thank you.
So yes, this is Narmer. Narmer is from what we would call Upper Egypt, right? From the south. The person that's sitting on his knees is a captive from what we would call Lower Egypt, right? In the north.
I knew that.
So he I know.
I knew that. So this is my point. So this is my
But I
point.
know
This is
I'm
my
talking
point.
about. I know it from the headdress.
They but here's my only thing though. Now, even though one is from the upper region of Egypt, one is for the lower region, they're from the same bloodline of people. They damn near brothers. You know what I mean? To just make the long story short. So they just wasn't walking around giving out hugs. I mean, they was beating each other
Right.
to death. They was
Now,
beating each other to death. So
right
I
now,
mean,
We're gonna get
put
more.
something in
We're gonna
context, Omar.
and like I said, we're gonna get more into that. Humble, I'm gonna let you finish that up, and then we gotta stop
we gotta
because
address that too.
Most definitely.
y'all jumping on
So
my slide. My slide got
I
other.
got you, brother
Okay,
Quantum.
okay,
I know I ain't
okay.
gonna be long. So I want to get deeper into that, right? And when we're dealing with the conflict between Upper Kemet and Lower Kemet and Nubia and these things, what we're dealing with here are people who just don't agree on certain things, right? Lower Kemet didn't want to be merged with Upper Kemet. You see what I'm saying? We got our own thing going on. We don't want one ruler. We like what we have. Nama wasn't having it. Nama like, nah, man, hey, listen, for us to be a united front, for us to be strong, we got to do this. And what happens when one person agree and the other person don't agree? Hey, yo, we taking it by force. You see what I'm saying? But this is how brothers and sisters fight all the time
Okay,
nowadays. You
okay,
see what I'm
okay.
saying? So this thing,
No.
I just have to put
I
that in
got you.
perspective. I land my
I
plane
got
with
you. No. And I agree with that. My thing is, I just don't want to hear a whole diatribe about it. Oh, we loved one another. And we just walked around giving out free. We walked around giving out free hugs to everybody. I mean,
that's fair.
All right, thank you, Omar. Thank you, Omar. We got you. We just go ahead and
I
get
appreciate
on.
I'll mute out and let you finish. I don't got no more questions to ask for now until you done, brother.
See, I see where he struck a nerve with him when I said how Christianity wasn't spread by love.
So this brother know where I'm going, but I don't want to interrupt no more. I'm gonna listen because I got my pizza downstairs cooking in the oven. So I'm a drop off. I'm gonna drop off and listen, but then I'll probably come back on a little bit later.
That's where he at.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's why I say we want to do some investigative looking into it, but I don't want it to be like it's any pushback. So the next thing on this slide, Coliseum, A1. I know you can't see the people on the screen talking, but it's because you can't see the whole slide when they on the screen. So stop interrupting my show and putting people on the screen. They know who talking. If they don't, when we get into the show, people gonna be getting the show, but we're showing the slide. That's why you can't see the people. Asking that question coming to permission of my show. A1. We got to get to a commercial because now I can't get back to the regular screen so y'all can see the whole slide. And this is what we do got coming up.
Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1. The arena is opening once again, and only the strongest minds will survive. After an unforgettable first tournament, Pandemus the African Atheist fought through the battlefield of ideas and walked away with $500 in cash. But that was then. This time we're raising the stakes. $1,000, one champion, one title, one chance to prove you're the greatest debater in the league. This isn't social media arguing. This isn't trolling in the comments. This is intellectual warfare, where evidence is your weapon, logic is your shield, and every round is a fight for survival. New challengers are stepping into the arena. Veteran fan favorites are returning. Egos will fall, legends will rise. The question is, do you have what it takes to survive the Coliseum? We still have a few tournament spots available. Think you belong among the Titans? Message TitansDebateLeague@gmail.com and claim your place before the gates close. Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1, where great minds don't just debate, they go to war. Are you not entertained? Coliseum of Arguments. Only the brave speak here.
Yeah, so before we continue, I'm gonna let y'all see everybody we do got on the stage right now because some people might want to know. So this is all of us, me, Humble, and Metter up here right now. And when we speaking, I try to put us up there, but I want to make sure that everybody get to see the information on these slides because this is where the information is. And so before we left, we had just finished discussing the Nile. Omar came in asking kind of about the stele and who those people were. And we're going to get over there to that. I didn't want to jump too quick because as you see, the slide goes in a order. We talked about the Nile and the importance of the Nile and the recurring pattern of the renewal of the land throughout the Nile. Now earlier, Tahuti was talking about symbolism and figurative speaking. If you can touch kind of before we move to the next part of the slide, is that kind of one of the symbolisms that because we know that they didn't separate like philosophy or religion and government in everyday life. Did they use this also as a way to push order and continuity and regeneration of the population as well as existence? Because that's kind of
Um,
what I got when
yeah,
I was doing my research.
right. And yeah, so the symbolism of things, right? We can see that a lot of these cultures that we'll be dealing with, that go up and down the Nile, you'll find a lot of the same symbolism in all of the cultures. Some of them might be used a little different, right? But for the most part, the Nile Valley system operated as a system. It didn't operate like one misconception people have is that the tradition that Kemet was practicing in Kemet was some isolated tradition. No, that tradition, right, was an already established tradition way before Kemet or even anybody in the Nile Valley um was even settled. That was just a tradition that was passed down. Now a lot of people like to, oh well, where to get it from? Did they steal it? Or no. This was just inherited. These people that built Kemet, these people that built Heliopolis, all of the cities down the Nile, these people already had a a worldview, so to speak. We could just sum it up in that manner, a worldview. You see what I'm saying? And within that worldview came similar motifs, similar symbolisms, things of that nature. I'll land my plane, Brother Quantum.
Thank you, humble. Appreciate that so much. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting out of my research that I was doing when I looked at the symbolic and figurative side of it. Because like you said, when I take my philosophical eyes and look at it, that's what I see, and that would be a way to teach people within the community, the kids, how to teach them about that what's going on when it comes to the physical replenishment of the world as the replenishment of you as a person within your family, community, and things right there, and just about predictable renewal.
Right.
Meta, would you like to touch on that a little bit? Is he still up here?
Yeah, cause well, well, not to go backwards, but when you speaking on Muat, our ancestors was really following that tradition, you know. And once the killing and all of that got to start, because for example, if we take the Dogon tribe, they have no jails, no violence amongst each other, no nothing, and they one of the oldest, oldest that's walking on this earth, you know. So I'm like here and there when we get to uh, looking at papyrus and things like that, stellates and stuff, because you gotta ask yourself because our ancestors didn't uh, we didn't call ourselves kings and pharaoh and stuff. That's Greek. We didn't do a lot of these things. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in and just research because you know now we have violence amongst each other. You know, so what dynasty? Which one is that? Or when did the invaders come in and put their little monkey wrench into the process of our people? Because to be honest, I'm just I'm just sitting back, listening, and taking it all in, doing a good job.
Got you. Let me see. Somebody just came in. Oh, Tahuti back on the stage.
Hotep family. I just want to address the Narmer palette because I think somebody asked the question. Well, I know somebody did, but you know, Mansa Hercules has brought this up plenty of times on this very, channel. He cites Obadale Cambone. Other Afrocentric scholars have interpreted the Narmer palette, but if you get the time to look it up on your own and visually look at it, you can see that the African people that represent the side of Narmer have African hair, while the people who are getting beat down have stringy hair. Those would represent the Amu barbarians that originate from the Caucasus Mountain regions and make their way into Kemet via the Levant corridor. The people of Upper Kemet and Lower Kemet are the same people. We have to understand that Africa during a certain period of time didn't have contact with foreigners until the later dynasties. Obviously, they had their invasions, but even from a massive standpoint and a diplomatic standpoint, other races didn't exist until the later dynasties, the New Kingdom. That's why you have your first diplomacy from Kemet coming from the 26th dynasty. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I've said that also on this very channel, and I just want to end with that.
Bet. Thank you. Did you want to touch on the Nile real quick and the replenishment of the Nile and the symbolism that was used to teach also within the community?
No, not really. I just want you can go ahead and go with your presentation, but I just want to point out that you can see how it looks like a flower, or a lotus flower to be more precise and specific. But, I just want to say that you can go ahead with your presentation. I just wanted to touch on the Narmer palette and the conditions of Kemet leading up to the 26th dynasty.
I got you. And within my presentation, like I said, it touched on all that. So we'll probably get back to that. So you'll be able to come up and say a little more if I got some more questions about it. But the next part of the slide we see is the sun. That's the second feature. Celestial cycles and certainty of return. That's fascinating to me philosophically. The sun appears, it moves across the sky, it disappears, darkness comes, then the sun returns. From our perspective, we explain that through Earth's rotation. But I'm interested yet in imposing our explanation onto theirs. And I don't want to do that. What I want to know is, what did they think they were observing?
So when dealing with the sun, they had a 365 year calendar. They also had a lunar calendar. So that right there let us know that they were very aware that they were tracking solar bodies. The symbolism of the sun, they understood that the sun brings life. We were just talking about this earlier. This goes back into the beginning of what you were talking about when we kicked off at the natural. The Kemetic people venerated anything that bring forth life, right? Or played an important role in bringing forth life. The sun was one of the major roles. Let me calm up, family. The sun was one of the major roles that they identified was a force that brought forth life, all kind of life, right? Plants, animals, things of that nature. So They venerated the sun because of the power or the force that it was. But they also acknowledged that the sun was a celestial object in the sky that to make it rotations, things of that nature. It's important because I do want to note when you look into the text, you'll see a lot of motifs about the solar boat and the sun walking or riding across the water. Those are just motifs to help people understand the relationship between the sun and the earth and the inhabitants of the earth. And this is all important to grasp when dealing with the philosophy, so to speak, once again, of the Kemetic people and how they view the Netaru and how they viewed existence. I land my plane with that, brother Quantum. I appreciate you, my guy.
So yeah, I agree with that. You got any other questions?
Hello.
Uh, yeah, Tahuti, was that Tahuti talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was observing when the Egyptians observed the daily solar cycle. Did they understand it like we do when it comes to hours and things like that? I haven't looked too deep in the mechanism. Did they use it to tell? I know they didn't use it to tell time like we do, but did they have certain times that they did different things when it comes to the civilization and the practices of worship and
Well,
stuff?
one thing we'll find out is they absolutely had a way to measure time by using the sun the way that we do today. Our clock system today is based off of they'll give the credit to the Greeks, but the Greeks got the idea from a sundial from the Cometians. So even the way that we set up our modified tracking of time come back from there. And I'm gonna give one more thing, and I'm gonna land my plane. We got this thing in our vocabulary called an hour. An hour. Think about that. It's called an hour. The Kemetic name is Heru.
Exactly.
And
Hour.
so the hour literally comes from the name Heru, which is
Horizon.
the Kemetic word for day. Yeah, Heru, horizon, all of that, rays, right? So even in now, and this is why I say Kemetic culture is still deeply embedded within our cultural system today. When we say, look at the sun rays, where do you think we got that word rays from? Right, right?
Or when you get done praying, you
Horizon,
say
Horus.
Amen.
Uh-huh. When we looking out over the horizon, what are we looking out over? We're looking out over Horus. Right? Same thing I was
Yeah,
just talking
definitely.
about New York, right? Lady Liberty. Who is that? That's my aunt. So it's very much embedded within our culture today. We just don't realize it consciously. We realize it subconsciously, right? When we start like, oh, hey, you know what? We see the connect, but we don't realize it consciously. So we still utilize these symbolic ways of functioning within the thing we call reality, the same way the Kemetic people did. I land my plane with that, y'all.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely.
Well,
Let me address that.
it,
Let me address that
hold on.
about the sun.
Oh,
Well, not. Let me actually address that before you go on too
go,
far.
go
So,
ahead, man.
so pretty much we know it as the. I think you touched on it too, humble. But we know it as the Great Sphinx, as the Haru Imhotep, right? Um, Based on what we know, it marks the emergence of the celestial age of Leo, and it also marks a phenomenon uh, around the sun that, or I'm sorry, at dawn on the day of the spring vernal equinox, to where you have a phenomenon right?
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, you have to understand it's widely understood that the Committee you understood um, time and the relationship with the sun and all that way better than we do today.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Yeah.
I
But
got you. I
but
got you.
but the Gregorian calendar, you know, when we speak on religion, I always say if you want to see the Son of God walk on water, 12 o'clock, go to the river, and the Son of God gonna walk across water every time, every day. So with the with time, as far as our ancestors, you know, we they misled us on purpose, so have our we don't be in tune with nature and the universe the way we supposed to, because they added on more days to the month. Because it's supposed to be 28 days. I'm September. I'm Virgo. I'm in the ninth month. I'm really supposed to be in the seventh month. And the way they have it now, we're so misled that when we do look at the sun, we don't even know how to track our own time. That's why we love it. Straight up. We're not in tune the way we supposed to. We're not, you know, uh, our culture is gone, traditions, everything. We don't even really know the time because we so in the past that if you really think about it, look up the Gregorian calendar. Look up how many times the sun go around the earth go around the sun. Look up how many months. This is the Cometian count. It's 28 days. There is no leap year or none of that. I land my plane.
That's a
Thank you.
fact. You
Thank
gotta look at
you.
how, Augustus added himself into the calendar, right? With August, right? Julius Caesar
Yeah,
with July. And so
yeah.
you get with them Greco Romans, boy. You did, man. Listen, there's a whole lot of flan dealing with that stuff. I land my plane.
Because then,
Let me say
because
something real quick.
if we hold on, because if when we really think about it, you know what I'm saying? The new year is in the spring. This is when everything gets grown. That is what you call a SAR. Everything is reborn. You know, the new year is not in the wintertime. Everything is dead. In the springtime, oh, that's when we Easter bunny come lay some eggs and the kids go try to find them. I'll let them think.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just want to share that Infandiji, Jay Hutimus, who's a very proficient and master teacher of Meta Nature, he says that the new year starts on February the 8th. There's variations, but the point is that the new year starts in this around the springtime versus the dead of winter. So I just want to
Mhm.
add that, and like I said, um, yeah, they definitely time is definitely different based on a lot of things. Just a simple fact that I think you already touched on this, but we call midnight the new day. So like, why are we starting the new day the next day at the middle of the night? That doesn't even sound logical. Um, yeah, there's a lot of other problems, and I think that at one point in time in Europe, the new year was actually in April. I think I can. It was sometime maybe in the uh, 18th century. It used to be actually in spring in certain European countries.
It's so
Well,
interesting you
if
said
I'm not
that.
mistaken, isn't Ethiopia 8 years behind us?
Yeah, Ethiopia in a
I
whole
would have
nother.
to look that up, but they actually have the world's oldest calendar, not specifically in Ethiopia, but Omo. The Omo people have the oldest calendar, one of the oldest calendars that would verify a 62, 66 time frame for today. So according to Infundiji Jehutamus, the year is 6266.
Yeah, yeah, something
I
like
just
that.
want to piggyback really fast off Tahuti, um, and just go back really fast into this symbolism of the sun thing and how Kemetic culture is literally embraced within our culture today. 12 noon. Who is noon? Right? So we know that even today we acknowledge the fourth that bring forth new comings. Even today. Every time 12 noon come, hey, you know it's noon. Who is that? What is that? Where did that concept come from? Came from Kemet. I just wanted to throw that out there. I land my plane, y'all.
That's why I say time got us in a bind, man. Because we living up under somebody else's time, religion time. Monday,
Yeah. That's
Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those concepts have meaning, and we don't even know the lamest person don't even know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thor, Friday. They don't even know the concept behind the days that they call it.
got right. And like I said, what I'm doing for my investigation, that's what I'm talking about. Because I know if I understand the solar cycles in the day that way that I understand it, they understood it in the way that they understood it, which changing the name of things and symbolism doesn't take away the function. So I have to argue that um, for my commissions and things. When people start talking about symbolism, literal, not literal, I care not when I can find the function of what those words, and like we talk about Ra. Just when I think about Ra, I think about the sun rising and traveling across the sky. I know it's a lot of other mechanisms that's in place, like and like Humble said, we talk about what survives today. We talk about sun rays, not just ray, but the sun rays, which the sun rays all come from that one thing that is the sun. So the English definitions and the thing that we get when we get the words now today, while they touch on it, they don't have the sometimes have the actual idea of what the commissions may have put on the table. But once we get down to it, we see that the only thing that they wasn't putting on the table was the symbolism that we use today. They had their own way to understand it. And we've been able to come across ways to actually understand that that's what they was doing. So that's my first shout out and flowers to the comedic view. And we're gonna move on over to the
Hold
desert.
on, can I
Oh,
ask
go
one
ahead, Moody,
question?
my bad. I mean, go ahead, Meta.
Okay, okay. When is the sun at its most highest? At 12 o'clock, right?
What they call
What time?
noon.
Yes, but when did Jesus start teaching? At 12. All the motion of the sun has everything to do with basically all the traditions, all of them. Period. You have to map out when, because Easter don't fall on the same day every year. It have to be measured. It have to be measured by a technique. It got to be measured by a technique that's in Rome, and then Rome give out when Easter is gonna be. They don't just say, "Oh man," and it take 2,000 years for it to be on the same day. So the son of how our ancestors mapped out and view the sun is it's like pinpoint accurate. It was just that we had these people take our traditions, spent it on us, and fed it back to us. Now, instead of instead of acknowledging the sun of what it does for us, we worship in a son of God, a son of man. You know, if you calculate the winter solstice of how the sun moves, you can have the sun dies for 3 days and resurrect and go back across the equinox. So these is the sun is more important than we just saying, oh, it's just in the book, the Son of God. Yes, we our people saying as far as um the sun, giving concepts to the sun. We're not saying this is our God, Son of God. Oh, traveling back across the equinox, this and that, dying on the cross, and then literally, the sun before it goes. If you look, it's a cross with the stars, with the cross stars. The sun sits right there before it dies, before it goes down for 3 days, and then it resurrects and goes back. That's when you know spring is coming, and that's what you call the new year.
Bet. Thank
Hey,
you
let
for
me
that.
address something real quick. I just got a
Go for it.
question, and this definitely gonna be a rhetorical question. I'm addressing what y'all brought up earlier about Kemet having conflicts with his own self, i.e., black on black crime
What?
in ancient times.
Hey, Tahuti,
So
that's
I just
later
want
on.
to say, like, my
That's
question
later on
is,
in the. That's later on in the show,
yeah.
Tahuti. It's
Oh,
on.
that's later on in the show. I mean, y'all brought
Yeah.
it up and y'all tried to frame it on a Narmer palette, so I just wanted to
Oh, you
acquiesce
talking
to
about?
it so I can.
Hold on. I didn't know you was talking about the people that came up. Okay, no, you can address that. I
Yeah,
did tell you that.
I just wanted to entertain the idea. Let's just say, and we know that there was black on black conflicts between not only, African people, but even with Upper Kemet versus Lower Kemet. But, why is it, we have no problem with boys in the hood. We have no problem with, paying somebody a visit for something they did 4 or 5 years ago, you know, all this fighting and stuff that we got on amongst each other. But as soon as we get to Kemet, we have a problem with it. Why is that the case? Why does that suddenly debunk the power and the significance and the importance and the value of Kemet? I just want somebody to answer that question.
And that's a
Man,
great question, brother Tahuti. Um,
Omar left. I answer it from my view before anybody else. From my view, it doesn't. Boys in the Hood isn't a nice story or anything to me, and I actually do have a problem. Now, I have to admit, I grew up when Boys in the Hood first came out, so watching it and growing up in it I understand that lifestyle might have led me, along with a lot of other people, into walks of life that we shouldn't have had simply by trying to go for that. So I don't necessarily think that those things were good, and I give them the same pushback that I would give the commission pushback if I had any pushback. But like I told you, this is an investigative for me. Omar, if you can come back up, because he's really talking to you, because you the one that was had the
I will
question.
I would like to answer that really fast as well. Um, and then I'm gonna have to get ready to go, y'all. I gotta go lay down my wife. To answer brother to who question is an amazing question, and one of the issues is this Eurocentric lens don't want to see anything melanated in power, and so they know that they can't whitewash all of Kemet. So then what happened? The Egyptologists start to push certain narratives and agendas, right? Because they can't erase like, we see this when we deal with Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben and them. You know what I'm saying? They were literally debating um European Egyptologists on what the race of the Kemetic people were. And they really was sitting up here trying to tell us that they were Europeans. Now, once that failed, now it's like, okay, they're not Europeans. Well, at least they're not as great as everybody want them to be. You see what I'm saying? They had wars and strife amongst their own as well. That had to be the narrative to try to knock us off of our totem pole because they don't want to see anything with color being a great nation. And we see this time and time and time again. And I land my plane with that, y'all. Humble Mr. Gal. Hey, I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Most definitely catch me over on the Cave of Knowledge at 8 o'clock. I'm out. Hey, brother Quantum, amazing show, Brody.
Thank you,
What's up,
Humble
man?
Mystic, and thank you for joining. Shout out Humble Mystic, man, Humble Titan in the building. We appreciate you coming up, and we're gonna continue to push forward to get it going.